Thank you very much for having me. Thank you all for being here and, turning this into a conversation as well, because it's not like I have found the holy grail of how now autonomous agents and I have 50 AI employees and so on. But we are on the way to it. And I think we're not the only ones. All of us are interested in this idea and trying to figure out different ways and approaches, techniques, what's working, what's not. And maybe from this talk, you can take away something that you might try yourself or you might think about further. So my name is Aaron, and I'm the CTO at Tedix, where we specialize in helping enterprises turn their day-to-day processes into agentic workflows. And especially me, I'm very interested, and my passion is like cooking tech stuff in the tech kitchen. I do like the hype trains. I was I was very excited about MCP when it came out, or when I touched it like a year ago, playing around with it and seeing how it evolves. I like to try out things as soon as they are available, and also in the community. So I try to speak a lot because it helps me also to learn and get feedback from the people who are doing similar things and approach and engage. So I'm from Munich actually, but now in Berlin. So you will find me in Berlin at a lot of events, if you are here in Berlin. And when we took the journey of, talking to enterprises, building a startup now 6 months ago, of course, we all wake up every day trying to, wait for the day that suddenly we get the notification on X that now we have arrived. Like this idea of being able to, from giving instructions and making the agents do wild things and taking care of so many automatically in the background. Are we there yet? How far are we? Like, that's the question we ask ourselves. What does it take? What are the different components, maybe even the different architecture that we might already have pieces of it, or we might not have anything? Because this is basically what we're promising to the enterprises, to the customers. This is what enterprises would want. Like, that's what they dream of. And they sometimes see themselves already like that. Sometimes they say, oh yeah, we already have, the AI is doing a lot of our stuff. And in the end of the day, not really. And it's still quite a journey, what it takes here. The reality is more like this. If we compare, like, these humans are not humans, but AI workers, they are doing similar things than the humans are struggling with. Piecing together information, finding the data, using the tools. It's still chaotic for an AI to come into your enterprise and just be productive from day one. And especially if we think about an autonomous world where you just, you are letting the AI steer and manage and see everything. So this is the reality we also see in enterprises when we come. They already use AI. Yeah, everybody uses AI nowadays, but they use it this way. And most of us still use it this way. And then on top of that, you have all these companies that come every day telling you, we have a solution, like we have figured it out. We have, fully automated a specific area of spreadsheets or so on. But does that really solve the problem? Are we just waiting for all of these companies to figure it out for the enterprises? And is that how it's supposed to be? Is that how it will work? Or is it actually causing also more problems of shitload of tools and so on? So enterprises come to us and say, where do we start? What do we actually need to do? We have so many apps already, so many tools. We're not a blank canvas. We're not a startup that started yesterday and can just be AI native from day one. And when we then look into this, what is this? How do we arrive to autonomy? What does it look like? Well, right now we are in this. This is not autonomous. This is what we're used to. We are still sitting in the driver's seat. We still have a steering wheel. We still have, all the controls available. We know how this feels like. That's what and this might be a better harness engineering, a better prompt engineering, a better, getting a better signal so the car doesn't go away. You can leave the steering wheel for like 10 seconds or a minute, but then you have to go back. But what does it feel like and look like when we are in an autonomous world where coworkers or AI is doing things in the background? Well, it looks like this. You remove the steering wheel. You remove the controls. you are just being taken from point A to B, what was the original job to be done. And in the background, AI takes care of all the pieces, all the information, everything that needs to happen and be coordinated. We are not there yet. And some people might wonder, would I get into a car like this now? Like, what would it take for me to enter in this car and just relax and not be nervous? So we are looking at this a lot. And the way we see it, at least what we're seeing in the industry, is that an AI native operating system is a fundamental requirement to have these digital workers, these AI coworkers, to be running, to be even effective, to be even let them, give them a working environment that they can operate in. And the first level, most companies already have. Most companies already have their Claude, their ChatGPT, some Microsoft Copilot, whatever you use to talk to AI. The second level, okay, some might have it, some kind of gateway, some unification, centralization, where everything connects to remove all this fragmentation and messiness. Then you have all the tools. How do you connect all your tools? Maybe you use MCP as your protocol to make AI, give it access. And also to legacy systems, which is the big part. Then you have context and memory, which is the talk, like today, we're going to dig into this right now in a moment, which is where are all the decisions, the learnings, the insights that happen day by day that AI is generating? Where do you capture that? Is it a normal database or is it a graph? The harness and the workflows is where does the automation come? How do you know that things are happening? Things need to be moving in the background. And of course, audit governance. And then, of course, that's the goal, to have the business outcomes. It all leads down to that. And you want to be able to measure that as well. That's very difficult to measure nowadays. So when we approach, this is a use case or a case study, let's say. A company, a large e-commerce company in Germany has a job to be done in the marketing department. So, okay, let's take a department. Let's take an area of this department. So marketing and SEO, and there's a person who's writing content. He sees data. He sees products moving up and down every week. Search trends or traffic or sales go up and down. Now his job is to understand, why is it moving? Why did the power bank suddenly increase dramatically over a week? Well, it turns out that people like to play Pokemon Go and they were running out of battery. So how do you now take advantage of this trend? You write an article about it, linking the story, making the trend and bringing that out. Same with the football shirt of Germany. It's not just the football shirt for the current World Cup. It's actually the whole concept that Adidas is the last time that they will be the sponsor of Germany. And then comes Nike. So there's a whole nother story to tell behind it. And this is the job of someone to figure this out. It takes 6 tools, 3 days of research across multiple categories and multiple products to understand what are these stories and what are the trends that are worth it to write about that will actually make a business impact. And the goal is not that AI writes 100 articles and just, let AI go wild and just shoot in the air. But the goal is that AI, we can create an agentic workflow that goes through this process in an hour of multiple products and categories and save those 3 days so that the content writer can actually start writing content on Monday and not on Wednesday or on Thursday and try to rush it up over the weekend. And then you multiply that by all the countries that they attend or the different locations, regions, and stories and cultural context. So how do we do that? We take of course, an agent that builds this workflow of these 6 tools, multiple steps, and break it down into deterministic, non-deterministic steps. But the important part is that we call it a Teddy, which is the coworker. So a Teddy builds the workflow, the skill that has connected to these tools. And then when the workflow executes on Sunday or on Monday morning or over the weekend or whenever, the same Teddy or the same agent, which has an identity, which has a memory layer, which has a whole persistent, it doesn't go away, is part of the skill. So the judgment part, the interpretation part, the reasoning part, it's the same one who actually built the workflow. And then the same agent also reviews the outcome and makes the improvements of this skill workflow. And in this way, we're able to create a loop that helps to capture the decisions, helps to understand the revisions of this workflow. So it's not just a change log of version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it. You actually capture why was this change done. And this is exactly where, for us, in our scenario, comes in the value of applying a graph. So when we have a graph in place and there is a bug in the workflow because one of the tools of web scraping or web research, there was a wrong parameter or something was not properly applied and no result was given, now the agent identifies that and can save that as a revision with a learning. And this same learning might be valuable for the workflow number 53 that this agent is building in the same kind of marketing department. So you go through all these revisions and you get this network of relations that help this workflow to improve over time. And there's a assigned agent to be part of this. So that after a while, you can start asking, why does this workflow work the way it does? And this is especially critical in enterprises because you're basically capturing the knowledge of these operational processes, but also have an explanation about it. And this intelligence being captured is basically the intellectual property of the company because they are improving it. It's getting better, they're getting better results, they want to know why, and they also want to own that intelligence and build on top of it and reuse it for other scenarios, for related departments, for related use cases. So that's the important part. How do you reuse this intelligence that you extract from a single workflow? Something that's so simple, one workflow turns into potential to help 1,000 workflows scaling inside a enterprise. So in our perspective, the workflow is not the product. We're not selling, here's a workflow, here's another workflow. What gets remembered, what's during the process of revision, like improving the workflow, of every iteration around it, these insights, that is the product. What gets remembered over time. And so in a nutshell, basically, that's this talk, pulling it back to the beginning. Usually an agent is just a script. It's just a definition. It runs, it spawns, it disappears afterwards. You don't really, there's no history record of it because you don't have an ID. You don't let it live for a long time. And now when you turn this around and you turn it into a coworker that actually has a purpose, that builds something, that is part of the same thing that it builds, you can extract a lot of intelligence out of that. So it's not really about like which model is better for this workflow, how do we just improve it once and improve it twice, but it's really about how much can now this agent take over this workflow and own this workflow, until you arrive to a fully autonomous part where this agent can also in a loop over the weekend improve, analyze the logs, understand what's going, what's working, and get more data to make these improvements. Then the important part, number 2, is that the same agent builds the workflow, but also runs it and is part of it. The same model or the same memory system goes into the workflow, executes step number 5, and goes out of the workflow. And yeah, so then hopefully you end up with a space where you don't have to fix the same thing twice. Workflow number 3 had an issue with a specific tool or with a specific steps. Workflow number 53 has a similar one. So now you can make those relationships and you can identify patterns in find me all the workflows that had a similar issue around this type of tool and around this type of data or purpose or so on. And then you can go around and update or fix these things. And yeah, So basically, we don't believe that you need more AI tools. We don't believe that, another tool will solve your problem. We believe that it's important to find a way and a system and some kind of technique how you can teach and have these learnings of the real work that's happening and teach this to your AI operating system and capture that somewhere. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that you can take something away of this and maybe apply some of these ideas or try it out and see if it works good for you. Thank you very much.